Welcome to America Sports. Just like that, we are back for another weekly predictions video. Let's get our crystal balls out and predict some games. Okay, so for the year, I am 23-12 straight up, 20-15 against the spread, 24-11 against the over-unders. I say all this to remind you, if a media or YouTuber or whoever is not telling you their weekly results, there's a reason for it. Alright, now we head to London to start off the first pick. So what we do is we take the two biggest games from the 1 o'clock slate, the two biggest games from the 4 o'clock slate, Sunday night and Monday night football. And of course, if London is happening, we are predicting that too. The Ravens are 3-2, the Titans are 2-3. I guess London loves their AFC South teams. Tannehill has 2 passing touchdowns and 5 INTs on the year. DeAndre Hopkins has not scored yet this year. And neither has Zay Flowers, the wide receiver for the Ravens. Alright, so we ask, who's got all the receiving touchdowns then? Well, tight end Mark Andrews has 3 of the 4 passing touchdowns. And then for the Titans, it's Westbrook-Ikhine with 2 receiving touchdowns. The Ravens are number 7 against the rush in terms of rushing yards per game. Number 2 in opposing teams' total yards per game, and also number 2 in sacks. Tennessee Titans have a very bad rated offensive line, and while they may have found something out of Tyjae Spears, that just really cuts into Derrick Henry's time. Baltimore's looking for a get-right game, so is Tennessee, both coming off of divisional games and in London. So I don't know how electrifying the offenses will be, but give me the Ravens to win and cover, and let's go with the under. As Ty, the under guy, strikes again. The Seattle Seahawks are coming to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Seahawks are 3-1, the Bengals are 2-3. While the Bengals are giving 2.5 and the over-under is 45. I like points in this. Seattle has really, since week 2, really taken off on their offense, and they're coming off of a bye week. And Cincinnati's starting to look like Cincinnati again. The Seahawks might also be back in full force on defense. The only one questionable in the starting lineup is linebacker Jordan Brooks, and that's a big one. But Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, Quandre Diggs, and of course Devin Witherspoon. Honestly, I really like the Seattle team. They impressed me. Last week, wide receiver T. Higgins did not play, and you barely noticed, but this is a better team than the Cardinals. I think that's safe to say. So he's questionable again for tomorrow, and I do think we're going to need him. We can still win without him, but man, it just makes it that much harder. He did practice on Friday, and I do think he will play. I just don't know for sure yet. That's all a guess there. I do believe Kenneth Walker is going to get his. We've not been good against the run, or at least not what we're accustomed to from last year's team. I'm going to double down as a Bengals Houday homer. Go against the grain here and take the Bengals at home. I got us to win and to cover because it's 2.5, and I do see us winning by 3 and the over. They are 3-0 at home, and they're giving 2.5, while the over-under is 42.5. You know what's kind of weird to me? Bijan Robinson does not have a rushing touchdown yet, and they're going to need it because the Falcons are 27th in points per game. The Commanders are right at middle of the pack with 16th, with the Ravens for 21.8 points per game. They kept it really close with the Eagles in week 4, but honestly, they have looked like shit ever since week 2. Now, they do have 2 wins, but the 2 wins are against the Broncos and the Cardinals. Sam Howell is getting sacked like you wouldn't believe. The one good thing here is the Falcons don't sack fucking anybody. They're tied for last with the Giants in total sacks with just 5. Meanwhile, the Commanders are good at getting sacked. They are tied for 6th in total sacks with 16, so they've actually got more than triple the sacks that the Falcons have. Other than that, the Falcons defense isn't too bad. Falcons D has 3 picks on the year, all 3 being Jesse Bates. They just got Van Jefferson in a trade with the Rams, and they plan to use him and Kyle Pitts, I believe. Ritter had his best game of his career, I would say, in the NFL last week, and he's never lost at home. I'm going to say that streak continues. I'm going to give the Falcons a W. Going to 4-2. 4 out of 5 Falcons games have gone under, 3 of those games being at home, so I'm sticking with the under. Normally I have to pick 2 from the 4 o'clock slate, but I'm picking 3 from 1 o'clock and just 1 from the 4 o'clock this week. Sorry, but there's just more on the line in my opinion in the 1 o'clock. We're going with the Colts and the Jags. If you're thinking, damn, didn't they just play? Well, the answer is yeah, back in week 1. And the Jaguars won that game, so if the Jaguars can win again and stay hot, they can gain decent control over the division. Jacksonville is favored by 4, with the over-under at 44.5. Indy has lost 3 of the last 4 in Jacksonville. The most recent one was ugly as shit. It was 24-0. You've been shifting around quarterback and now running back. And speaking of the run game, Jacksonville's pretty good. They are 5th in rush yards allowed. On offense, the Colts are 8th at rush yards per game, and the Jaguars are 14th. They were at the bottom until Travis Etienne went crazy in London last week against the Bills. Yeah, so give me the Jaguars to win at home. We know that so far that the home favorites have been covering more than not. Definitely at a better pace than last year. I think it is going to be a 4-point game. I'm looking at 21-17 or a 24-20. And the under strikes again. Our 4 o'clock game is the Detroit Lions at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa's one loss is at home to Philly on Monday Night Football. Detroit is favored by 3 with the over-under at 42.5. I believe this is based on the way Tampa Bay's defense and the way they play at home. David Montgomery is on fire, but Goff has thrown a pick in 3 of his last 4 games. The one that he did not was against Carolina. The thing is, man, I really like this BUCS team. I predicted them to win the division before the season. Their odds were like a plus 1,800 or something just absurd. I've been kind of rocking with them, but I think Detroit right now is just too good at this moment in time. Although I think the game is going to be closer than others might think. But yeah, Mike Evans, this is clearly Baker's favorite target as well. It's not as right down the middle with him and Godwin as it has been in the past. We also know that Aiden Hutchinson is a real problem for offensive lines. And for the BUCS, I think the O-line has done great. Baker's only been sacked 4 times in these 4 games. They will have to keep it up again on Sunday. And while we know St. Brown is back, Laporta is questionable with a calf injury, so that's something to keep an eye on. But I'm going to go with a Detroit win. I'm going to say that they cover, and I like the over here. I even debated not even doing this one, but we gotta do the primetime games. Buffalo and New York coming off of losses. Okay, so the Bills are at home. Danny Jones is in primetime, and they just came off of a loss in London. Yeah, man, this is all bad for the Giants. And look, I don't mean to shit on them, but I'm just telling you what I think. I think this is a bad matchup. And we're gonna see another Sunday night blowout. Buffalo wins, and at a spread like this, I normally would never take them to cover, but I'm going to take the cover here. And something is telling me to finally take the over on these primetime games. I don't know what's up with that. On to Monday Night Football, which is an absolute banger, I believe. It is the Cowboys and the Chargers. The Cowboys are 3-2 coming off of a embarrassing loss, and the Chargers are 2-2 coming off of a bye. It's quite true that Dallas as a defense overall, especially in the secondary, has not been the same without Diggs. I think they are pissed off from last week. That is good in terms of this week. As between this wide receiving core, CeeDee Lamb's the only one with a touchdown, and it's just 1. So the receiving core, just 1 touchdown through 5 games. The Chargers trade J.C. Jackson. They weren't even starting him a few weeks ago. And they have Mike Williams out, but Austin Eckler is back. And I wonder how the Chargers are going to play Eckler. Are they going to ease him back into it, or is he going to go back to his normal role right away? I'm assuming he's going to be eased into it unless they get desperate in the 4th quarter or something. Cowboys in the under. Chargers find a way to lose. I'm officially going with the Cowboys. I think Pollard goes off. It's hard to see him do bad 2 weeks in a row. And like I said, I like the under. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe for a lot more. Of course, we will be predicting and breaking down and reacting to games all season long, especially for Sunday's games. So don't worry, we will be talking about your team. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Ready for a demon, I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing, take me for granted, and you know